I have a new phone that I purchased, of course, because I can't just be happy with what. No, I purchased. See, you don't need a knife. You can just get by with. See that? That's a screw. It's a drywall screw. That's all you need. You don't need a big fancy knife. So I'm actually just opening this the first time. I purchased an iPhone 7. The biggest reason I purchased the iPhone 7 is just for the views. No, I think this phone is basically going to be the iPhone 6 Plus on steroids, because it's just going to be a little bit more responsive compared to the iPhone 6S. And I'm hoping this is like the perfect device. The only thing is that I feel like actually the iPhone... Dude, this phone looks so sick. The all blacked out buttons look insane. Can you see that? The all blacked out buttons look sick. Oh my gosh. Metal back phones were built different. Dude, this is in like really good shape too. Can you see that? This looks so nice. Okay, what was this thing? Oh, yes. I think this device is going to basically be the iPhone 6S, but just better in terms of just everything, the day-to-day performance, the responsiveness, using certain things, reliability. I think this is basically going to be the iPhone 6S on steroids. The biggest reason that I'm excited about this one is going to be the significantly better camera. I remember they made quite a big jump this year from the year before. 6S to this has quite the big jump. This also has the capacitive touch button this year. That's something they took away from the iPhone 6S. This also still has Touch ID, which I think is a remarkable feature that they never should have gotten rid of. I love Touch ID. It's so much better than not Touch ID, or not Touch ID, 3D Touch. 3D Touch is so much better than not having 3D Touch. I'm a big fan of 3D Touch. The form factor of this phone is very similar to the iPhone 6S. I love the size of this thing. I used to be a big phone person, but that's when I would scroll through videos faster than your eyes could bleed. That was several years ago now. I'm not like that anymore, but I will say I think that there's something about having a smaller device that is so much less enticing. I think, another device that I should try out would be like the 12 mini. I actually heard a lot of people say I should try that phone out. I'm worried that it's going to be too good though. Maybe that like checks every single box. Either way, after this phone, I'm definitely going to test out an 8 because that still supports iOS 16. I'm going to try, see if this is powered up. Oh, it's actually got battery. I'm going to test this phone for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I like to actually use the phones before I give a review on them. It's the same thing with every other product I do on this channel that I do review. I like to actually use the product for an extended period of time because there are so many little quirks that you're just going to come across when you're using a phone or an older device that you're not going to experience when you buy a new one. I'm not like blaming a lot of YouTubers, but when they have to review so many devices, they can't really get into them, use them a bunch. The actual day-to-day, when it's 7 a.m. and you're trying to go for a run and the phone just will not work, the app just will not work, the tracking on the Strava app or whatever app you're using just won't work. Those are the types of things that really add up that you have to take into account when you're reviewing an older device, which is why I like to use these phones for an extended period of time. So I'm going to be using this phone for the next week or two. This phone is so gorgeous. I think this looks better than the 4. I'm going to go get the 4 that I have, the 4S. Here is the 4S. Get that out of the way. Dude, I don't know. I think this looks way better. This might be I never had an iPhone 7. I never had access to one. I had an 8 Plus, but not in all black. I had it in, I think, like rose gold or the white one, gold, whatever it was. This looks good. It's a little crusty though. See my closet for it. I'm gonna clean this off. Okay, I don't know. I think the iPhone 4 still takes it. Which one do you think? Which one do you think is more attractive? I still kind of think that one. But I do love the all-metal back. This is a very sharp-looking device, and I'm very excited to get into this one. I think they actually have a phone that's just like this, the iPhone SE2 and SE3, which I know a lot of people have also talked to me about getting, and I will probably end up testing out pretty soon. But I like to test out the cheaper phones, the older phones, because I think that, to prove a point, basically, like, we can get by with so much less than what we think we need. Anyway, so I think as a culture, we have been convinced and we've been trained as like ultimate capitalism, that we just need to constantly be striving for the best and the greatest. And that is just not normally how anything has ever been done in the history of the world. And we've always obviously wanted to improve, but constantly like just going for the most dopamine that we could possibly get. We were given these devices and we were given a set of instructions. It's like one day we woke up and we didn't have these like crack devices. And the next day we did. So I think that I love testing out these older phones. I actually love these older phones. I did use the 6S for 3 months. And I'm excited to use this phone. I think I'm going to use this phone for a long time as well. Obviously, as I test out other ones, I'll have to switch it out. But I think that there is something about choosing to do less. And I said this in other videos where when you decide to intentionally downgrade or intentionally use a phone, and instead of having the phone use you, use the phone in an intentional manner, only download these 5 apps, none of them are social media, you begin to own your device and you begin to own your time as opposed to letting your time own you and these devices own you. Because the last thing I want people, like my biggest fear is that somebody grows up and, you know, they grew up during this age and they're 15, 18, 20, 22, 25 right now. And they look back in 20 years, they were so focused on playing on screens, they never got out into the world. They never got to meet people. They never really made friends. They never had a chance to find love. And they're going to look back and be like, I wasted it all on phones. I wasted it all on this stupid little 4-inch rectangular device that doesn't respect me the way that I should be respected. So it's a very pro-human. I have a very pro-human approach to life. If it were up to me, part of me would love to get rid of phones in general, although I love the internet because it does democratize data in a way that has information in a way that I think we've obviously never seen before, and that's obviously been a wonderful thing. But there is a massive downside to that. I think the massive downside is TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube to a point. I think YouTube, generally speaking, long-form YouTube content is typically a lot better for you. Although you watch like a Mr. Beast video and you watch it and you walk away from it thinking like, did that better my life? Like, am I a better person now, or did I just like watch the most? I always joke. I actually really look up to Mr. Beast. I think he's a wonderful creator, and what he's done on the platform is really wonderful what he's done for people. But I always joke that the Mr. Beast is basically like if AI created a YouTuber, he's like the perfect. He's so good at it. He's like too good at it. And I think he's actually getting better at storytelling, which I think is a good thing. But anyways, that's used to knock Mr. Beast. I do really respect him. But I think that there is something to be said about choosing to listen to content, engage with content that is better for you. And these devices, these older devices, this device is obviously just a little bit too old, but these older devices, I think they really allow you to take back your life. They really allow you to take control of your screen time, take control of your life again. And I think that is such a positive thing. Is why I love testing out these older devices. I don't try to rip on them and say, oh, this phone is so good because it sucks, or it sucks so bad that it's good. But it kind of is like that. It does suck so bad that it's good in a wonderful way, because you're not going to look back in 10 years and think, hey, it was so embarrassing that I was using an iPhone 7 in 2023. You're going to look back in 10 years and think, I'm so glad I downgraded because I was able to do X, Y, and Z, and I never would have been able to do those things had I spent all this time scrolling on TikTok and watching YouTube videos. Like you never walked away from a 3-hour binge session of scrolling on YouTube Shorts or TikTok thinking, man, I feel really good now. That was, you know what? I get back in there for another few hours. Like you don't feel like that. Running, I ran 7 miles today, and it was for an hour and 10 minutes. That's the 10-minute miles each mile. And the feeling after doing that versus watching an hour and 10 minutes of YouTube, it's like two completely different feelings, but they take up the same amount of time. So go out, do things that are edifying, and they actually make you a better person and bring you closer to the person that you were made to be, as opposed to spending your time on TikTok watching stupid videos. So that's why I bought the iPhone 7. The roundabout title, I lost the plot a little bit, but I'm going to bring it back. I'm really looking forward to using this phone. I cannot believe actually how good this phone looked. And I will see you in the next one, or hopefully not, because you'll be spending time outside, spending with people, enjoying the weather, enjoying nature, and enjoying all the beautiful things that we have to enjoy. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one, but not really. This is Mescal Tech Clips. Peace out.